Welcome back to New Rockstars. Agatha All Along is now roughly halfway through this witch's road. We have 4 witchy weeks ahead in the month of October, as we have actually 5 episodes, but the final 2 episodes will both drop on October 30th. Halloween ween, if ween is derived from Eve. I think it is. It's All Hallows Eve.
I don't think Eve comes from Halloween.
I think ween comes from Eve.
I think ween comes from Eve.
Hey, Eve, you got ween?
Are you talking to the R&B singer?
Eve, don't have me, Eve. I'm sorry, Eve.
She's like, here they go, talking about me again.
Oh, and before we get started, a little bit of an announcement here. New Rockstars has now depleted our supply of advanced press screeners for episodes of Agatha All Along. So it's going to take us a little bit long to get our Easter egg breakdowns out to you. They'll now be coming out on Fridays instead of Wednesday evening or early Thursday morning. But what we're going to do to appease you in the meantime, Jessica and I are going to be doing an episode reaction that's going to come out on Wednesday night on the New Rockstars channel. So episode 5, as soon as you are done watching it, come to New Rockstars on YouTube and you'll be able to see Jessica and I reacting to the biggest highlights and then quickly giving some initial thoughts. And then we'll be able to take your questions on the Break Room channel at 11 a.m. And then on Friday will be our in-depth Easter egg breakdown of everything you missed from episode 5 of Agatha All Along. Cool? Sound good? All right, let's get into it.
This is the weekly show, The Sneak Peek, where we talk about the future of fandom here with me, Jessica Clemons, and Erik Voss.
Hi, everybody. Hello. So in this episode, we're going to just look ahead to the upcoming season, whatever's left for Agatha All Along. We've seen the trailers. A lot of the trailer footage has now shown up in episodes, but there are some remaining shots that we don't know what episode they're going to come in. So we're going to look at what's ahead and try to figure out what these remaining 5 episodes will be, what the trials will be, who will be on trial, who will survive these trials, who might appear in kind of a late season cameo, perhaps. How this will end, really, I think is fair to wonder at this point.
If this is another discussion about Mephisto, I'm not having it.
I didn't say his name.
You said who would bring up at the end. Who else would come up at the end other than Mephisto?
I don't know.
Sheryl Crow?
That don't impress me much.
Damn.
Of course it would impress me much. You try to make a reference to sound cool. Hey, a reminder, hopefully you joined us on the Break Room on Thursday at 11 a.m. But if you didn't, you'll be able to catch us again this coming Thursday at 11 a.m. Pacific time to just talk about the next episode of Agatha. We're going to take your questions in a live stream. Those have been so much fun. We missed you last week. Gina did a great job, but I'm curious to see your thoughts on this most recent episode and what comes in after episode 5 this coming week.
Yeah, episode 4 it felt a little calm for me. I don't know how it felt calm because it was probably the most extravagant, crazy. I think it felt calm to me because I don't think a lot of us know a lot about generational curses. And if you hear the term making potions, making spells is one thing, but a generational curse is something you can't see. So I'm like, oh, even if I read this in a spiritual book or even if I read about this in Stephen King, it's not real, right? And this is a story challenging, well, what if it is real?
What if it's an actual physical demon that will, set ablaze above your head? I actually really agreed with you about episode 4 because with episode 3, they all took a poison. The floodwaters were threatening all of them collectively. They were all kind of going through it. With episode 4, selfishly, it almost felt like, Lorna, this thing's just chasing you. We're okay. We're just going to help you through it. But they did change that basically in the latter third of the episode by having the teen be so wounded and that being such a fear for him. Okay, so we've had a water trial with Jen. That was really Jen's trial, right?
Yeah.
Potions. We had a fire trial that was Alice's trial and her coming to terms with what happened to her mother. So that means we have an air trial and we have an earth trial. Yeah. The remaining people of the coven include Agatha, Rio, Teen, and Lilia. And then they've also kind of connected the phases of the moon. Yeah. So the first one was a full moon. This one's a waxing crescent. And then so ahead we have we could do a quarter moon. We could do a half moon. We could do a waning crescent just on the other side, or a waning or waxing gibbous. Or you could have a new moon. The best of the Twilight stories.
New Moon is the best of the Twilight stories.
Have you felt like, maybe you know more about this than I do, how Billy's just like, yes, the waxing crescent. Of course, the fire stage.
Oh, of course, this one.
Is that anywhere? I can't find any kind of connection between elements and
there is, especially during the I'm not good with the phases of the moon because there's I know that there's not a lot, but it is too much for me to understand, especially when you're into astrology and now crosses a different barrier, which I'm like, this is different. This is a different spiritual thing that I'm used to. But the first one, the one that Jen has to go through, is known for like water. And it's known for water because that's the one that you want the moonlight for. So when it has like trials, it's like, oh, you need moon water. You take it usually under that phase of that moon. So for fire, I assume it'd be like the same situation of like, but I understand moon water. I don't know what the hell fire water would be. But like, I feel like there's a term for fire. Like maybe, I don't know, if you're looking for a journey and you need a light in the way, this is when you'd go under this moonlight or something. I don't know.
Interesting.
So they do correlate to the elements in different ways. I just know that the water one makes most sense to me.
Is it just the term wax, like wax associated with candles being a fire-related thing? Obviously, waxing in the context of a moon phase is a very different thing, but I don't know if that's how they linked it.
That's the fun part about a lot of this is it's all still like creativity, which I think we both have a lot of tools in because we have to break down things and find what the underlying meaning means. You got to look beyond. And I think we're very good at stretching that. And so I think it's a lot of how you want to contextualize it no matter what. So it could be that. But I just know when I learned about like the water phase, I was like, this makes sense. All the other ones did not make sense to me. And that's just me. Not saying other people might understand it better.
If you see a connection in it, it's valid.
It's valid. It's a valid connection. And I think that's what it means mainly.
Yes. So looking ahead at the trailer footage, this is like, there's been a ton of different promos. I don't think I've seen all of them. At some point I stopped watching the promos because I'm like, I just kind of want to watch the show now. But we know there will be an episode that's like an 80s sleepover episode, 100%. Where they're with the Ouija board. That's going to show Agatha wearing the number 33 jersey, possessed like in The Exorcist. Like Linda Blair. Now, I'm trying to figure out whose trial would this be? Could this be an air trial? Could it be an earth trial? Or could it just be a teen episode, an episode about Billy Kaplan, aka Teen, and maybe we in this episode will flash back to the events of episode 1 and just see everything from his point of view, as he was like figured out how he learned those Latin spells and what exactly happened to him in this episode.
100%, I could see that. I keep holding on, and I also have not watched any of the trailers or the promo footage. Likely when they're coming up to the episode, they're showing you clips of the episode. I have not watched any of those. I only watched the trailers that came out right before the show actually came out. And the one part that I know that we are missing is the I want my prize scene, because we also get Rio doing a little blowing of the kiss, but it's in the same green light. And that's where I was like, oh, if we're still missing earth and air, that's probably the earth section. But I do think that section is going to be spliced with either that cabin episode or the episode of the castle, because we're missing the castle and we're missing that scene where she grabs Teen's head. Because that's not inside the castle. That's like a science room.
Right. Doesn't it feel like a cabin in the woods?
Yes.
A little bit like the underground high-tech layer with a clock. The cabin in the woods doesn't have a clock, but this place seems like an analog clock on the ceiling.
No, 100%. That's why I'm like, there's 4 locations that are too different from each other, but we only have like 2 or 3 more trials. So I'm so confused. They have to be spliced together.
They have to be, or some things have to be just things that they do that are not technically trials.
100%.
So the castle, so we have the sleepover. Yes. We have the high-tech purple lit room with Teen and with Agatha, and then we have by the castle. Do you mean where they're the Wizard of Oz cosplaying?
Yes. But you also see there's a scene in the trailer that has Agatha and Teen, and Agatha, they kind of look kind of dirty, like they got mud all over themselves, and they're walking over a bridge that has the phases of the moon. I assume that was also still the castle that has them dressed up as the Wicked Witch and Glenda and whatever.
And then I think Jen might be there as the evil witch from Snow White.
Yeah, from Snow White. Yeah. So either way, that's the castle I'm talking about.
And I think that's going to be the air trial. I think that's going to be a Lilia, and she is like in the episode 2 when they're singing the ballad, and Agatha goes, summon witches, water, fire, earth, and air, and then she goes in that order. And so far we've gone in that order. So it makes me think like the next episode we see might be an earth episode, and then after that might be the air episode in that castle. I just don't know from this footage what the earth episode would be.
I don't know either.
Because we haven't seen anything. So it's like, is there some kind of like weird trial that they've deceptively left out of, well, not deceptively, they've just, sincerely left out of trailer footage because just looking at it would be too evidentiary of what it is.
And there's still things that are happening that we know that aren't in the trailer footage, like Evanora, her mom coming back. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, I always keep being like, oh, there's going to be definitely a flashback, but what if that is a part of the Earth trial?
Yeah. So would the Earth trial be something that challenges Rio now that she's taking the place of Sharon? Or do they like skip the Earth trial? Because there's a lot to talk about with Rio. It's just, she seems to be the Green Witch, right? Yeah. We're not going to talk about other stuff that might be out there about Aubrey Plaza's character on this show. I included an addendum section to the breakdown, the Easter egg breakdown. You can go watch to just see some theories about that. In this episode, we're not going to be talking about it, but we just have questions about what the Green Witch function is now in this coven, and whether there would be an episode that would properly test Rio as the Green Witch of the trial, or rather if she would care.
Well, yeah, rather would she care, and also would she enjoy the torture of that trial? I think is because we haven't seen so much about the Earth trial, I think it's good to also imagine a reminder that Earth is kind of a part of every single one of these things.
That's true.
Earth is important to all parts of witchdom, and so I'm like, oh, hers will probably be incorporated with someone else's, and it wouldn't. And after episode 4, it makes sense that it's like, oh, what if your worst fear is something that involves Agatha? Because you're making it sound like she was the one that you betrayed. Everything kind of surrounds you and her within you. So I'm like, oh, what if they just make their trials overlap a little bit? Not too much, but it's of course, Rio's biggest fear would be something that involves Agatha and the broken heart and whatever hell else it might be.
Yeah, I wonder if Earth might actually end up being the last one because Rio is so attached to Agatha, and they'll want, if there are a final 3, we'd want to have Agatha, Teen, and Rio. So we see the inside shot of a castle where they're doing the Wizard of Oz stuff. There's also an exterior shot of a castle where it's just Agatha and Teen when the Witch's Road is illuminated yellow and the sky is yellow. And it's just I think, is that the bridge you were talking about?
Yeah, that's the bridge I was talking about. Yeah. Also, that was the scene where I was like, it's kind of yellowish green. It's throw-up-y colors. And I was like, this feels very earthly to me, like a decay Earth. A decaying Earth.
I wonder, of all the different exterior shots we've seen along the Witch's Road, that seems to be the most impressive, final boss-esque. Yeah. So I'm wondering if that could be I don't know if that is the interior of that is where Lilia is having her trial, or if that's a whole different place.
That could lead up to the trial part, or to Lilia's trial, because it could just simply be a conversation they're having before they enter the road, which they have been putting in a lot of the trailers, are the little conversations they have on the Witch's Road versus the trial. And the only reason why I was like, oh, I kind of suspect that is because there's another part in the trailer where Teen was like, why do you let them think these things about you? And she was like, because the truth would hurt too much. And when she says that, it's the decaying green part of the trailer. So I'm like, oh, they probably had a heart-to-heart moment right here, and then they're going to just continue on to the trial and bringing that. And eventually there's going to have to be a climax, but I think leading up to that climax will be oh, this unfinished conversation we had on the Witch's Road, we're just going to bring into the trial. Now we're going to beef about everything. We have to figure out, it's hard to, I'm not a psychologist, but it's
what?
Surprising to you. Reason number 1, I wouldn't be a psychologist. I'd be like, yeah, maybe he is a bitch. I'd be like, you're right. You should go hit him. But with your car. But no, I think it's unfinished business that they're bringing onto the road will make the road be like, Agatha, here's your trial. That's 500 million things. It's going to be hard for her.
Oh. Based off of how this episode ends, it kind of makes me think that episode 5 is going to be the sleepover episode. Just because, the way trailers tend to be structured is they show you a lot from the first episodes of the show and the first half of the season while they're still editing the second half. And there tends to be more spoilery reveals in the second half. And the fact that we've seen a lot of the sleepover in the trailer just makes me think that the way this episode ends, That's Not Your Boy, we're going to see a teen-centered sleepover episode, and they're going to take a break from the Witch's Road.
Yeah.
Just for now. And it's maybe they're still on the Witch's Road, but it's not a trial the way the other things are.
I can see that. Do you remember the promotional material before the show dropped that gave them posters, and they gave Aubrey Plaza the one that's for the camp, the sleepover?
Oh,
do you think the posters?
Maybe it's hers then.
Do you think? Because remember, I think Agatha was the heart of most of them, right? Because the Rockstar poster was Agatha, and then even the Rocky Horror Picture Show one was Agatha. The Evil Dead House one, I think, was still Agatha, but this one is Rio.
Yeah.
And do you think it plays to maybe it could just be hers? Because I also thought it was Agatha's trial was going to be, or the teen or Agatha would have been the cabin. But I wonder if that promotional material makes it like Aubrey Plaza's character.
You're right. Maybe that is going to be her episode when they're in the sleepover.
But what does earthly have to do with a cabin? And I guess I can't camping in a cabin. Yeah, that's earthly. But It's like, this is like, you guys are doing like sleepover shit of like a Ouija board and like other mystical things.
It looks like an attic that they're in.
Yeah.
It looks like a suburban bedroom or attic rather than like a camp cabin with bunks, because if it were a camp cabin with bunks, the natural world is breaking in. You got bugs and weeds and all kind of stuff that's coming in through the floorboards of a cabin at camp. So you are kind of tied to the earth when you're camping, but not so much when you are in a suburbia.
And that's why I'm like, what actions are they? They're playing like Truth and Dare.
They're doing kind of typical.
They all have like
stuff.
80s watches. What does that have to do with Earth or Rio even? Yeah,
so that's probably the episode I'm most curious about. To be honest with you,
and it's probably going to be the most fun. Watching Agatha turn into a demon and like go on the wall is very funny. That trial seems. I'm so interested. The only reason I can loop it back to Rio. And this is stretching it. It's just imagine, if you will, an all girly sleepover. I don't know what boys do at boy sleepovers because those are icky and gross. And
Let's not talk about it.
And they probably stink. But girl sleepovers, there's a lot of kissing.
What? This is what we're talking about at the boys' sleepovers, or what are the girls doing at their sleepovers?
We're freezing our bras and being weird.
Everyone's just weird.
And that's why I'm like, Rio's gonna be a weirdo, and I bet her trial is like the first time she fell in love with Agatha or something. And it would make sense for like a sleepover that's a bunch of women, like an 80s themed sleepover. It's like, oh, I dare you to kiss this girl. And it's like, wow, what if I find out that I'm in love with her?
I like that take a lot for just not so much Rio as an Earth Witch, but just what does she want?
Yeah. I mean, their trials are based on like, I talk about this in my Why is Agatha Mean video, that I'm like, every single witch so far that we've seen, we can directly figure out their core trauma that goes to their trial. Like the fact that Alice was like, I'm a disappointment. I didn't even think this was real. I didn't believe my mom. Jen being like, he bound me. My powers are gone. I'm useless. Lilia, we haven't seen yet, but I'm like, you can clearly tell that her centuries of being an old witch and seeing witches die has some kind of toll on her. Because in episode 4, she looks at that one painting and is like, oh, and I'm like, I think she's just lived through every kind of witch trial, like every type of like, let's murder the witches. Their traumas are directly correlating to their trial. So it doesn't matter that they're a witch. It doesn't matter their powers. It's more about like, hey, how did this shape you into what you're doing today? How can we break that bond? So if Rio's is just love, if it has always been the burden on her, how is she going to break that?
I have there's like other chunks of footage that we've seen, and that I think they might be in the final 2 episodes that are airing the same night. So one is everything. We're gonna get an episode that's around Teen, explaining who Teen is, his whole history in Eastview, who his parents are, what happened to him when he was 13. Because we have seen footage of Teen going on social media, of just Teen outside of the world of the Hex, or outside of the world of the Witches Road.
Yeah.
I think that is going to be the episode that takes Teen up to the events of episode 1 and just shows episode 1 from his point of view. I think that might be episode 8. I think episode 9 might be an Agatha-centered episode that just shows her full history from the time in the Salemites in the coven with her mom, and that's where you're going to see that actress come back through the Victorian era. Because a lot of the footage we've seen has been Agatha, like, with a past coven during Victorian times, absorbing their powers and draining them. And there's also a shot in the very first trailer where you see Agatha's shoes walk past like this orange or yellow rock. Remember the round stone with like the yellow veins running through it?
I
the
get
marbleization. That seems like it's part of the Victorian era shot. So I think we're gonna get a Teen episode and an Agatha episode that are airing the same night and just kind of answer those questions and catch us up through the history.
That's kind of the same pacing as Wanda, which I didn't hate Wanda's pacing, but it was just like those last 2 episodes were definitely like where all the stuff came in. I think the second to last episode of WandaVision started with Agatha's like trial, and we learned that like, oh, this was her mom that killed her. Ooh, yikes. Do you think they're gonna do the same thing where they're just gonna shove everything in the last 2 episodes?
Yeah, frustratingly, I think they will wait to reveal everything. But I think what's gonna be fun about the Agatha episode is we're going to see her relationship with Rio. And I think they're going to finally reveal who Rio is to her, what their history is. Was there a past trip down the Witch's Road? I think that will all come in the final 2 episodes.
That makes sense.
So it sounds like we're going to have at some point like a sleepover episode. We'll have a scene in the castle with Lilia, the air trial. We'll have so that's 2 of them. We need a third. That purple tech space.
Yeah,
that will be an episode, which I could also see that as a finale. Doesn't it seem like that could also be the finale?
I could see that as a finale. I could see that also being a part, which would be insane. I know, a part of Teen Story. Before we saw him. You know how you said we're gonna get a flashback or we're gonna see it through Teen's eyes? What if that is a part of the history of like things that not Wanda, but Agatha and Teen blocked out of their memory? It did not happen on the Witch's Road. It happened ages ago or something crazy. Because I don't know if that's gonna be an episode. I don't think that's a trial. Also, no one's there. There's a scene where Jen is crawling out of the grass back on Westview that it completely stumps me because I'm like, oh, does everybody get shot out? And then it's just a Teen and Agatha left on the Witch's Road, and that's why we get that scene.
Oh.
But I don't know. I don't believe that they're gonna kick everybody off the Witch's Road except for 2 people. Like I think I don't know. I think they're all gonna get shot up, and that's where we're gonna get that scene with Agatha and Teen.
I didn't even think about that, but you're right. Like I think it'd be crazy to kill off all these characters the way they killed Sharon, but to have some of them outcast, like once they're no longer needed, there's like an eject button that they can push to squirt them out of the Witch's Road up to the ground level. It's really interesting. Or maybe Rio drags them out or something like that.
Because we also still have that scene of Rio walking and there's like the fire and it looks like Agatha's house behind her and she's walking with the dagger.
There's that house that Agatha walks up to and her face gets all cut up. That we haven't talked about that, but that's another.
There's so many random good job on them in these trailers that they pulled random that it feels like they pulled out everything, but then it's like, but none of it makes sense if you put it all together.
They have all these different color tones too.
Yeah, they do.
So it feels like so far each episode of The Witch's Road has like a different color tone to at least the magic of the road. Once we're there, we went from blue to kind of a fiery autumnal red in episode 4. I'm kind of curious maybe if episode 5 might be a purple color if we go into the sleepover.
The sleepover we saw it's very dark tones. It's like cold. It's like bluish purple.
Yeah.
Right. It's a cold tone, which means someone's dying.
Yeah. Do we think any of these characters might actually die the way Sharon did?
It was supposed to be the Teen, right?
I think Teen's at risk to die.
I think Teen's at risk. Out of all of them, he's the most at risk, I think, to die. Especially because he's like basically the trainee of the Coven. It's like this person's not supposed to really kind of be here.
See, I think Lilia's at the most risk to die. And that's going to sound ageist, but she, just based off of her past, where she saw her maestra and she goes, they're dead. They're all dead. And I think part of her feels some survivor's guilt that like she survived some plague or some kind of calamitous event back in Sicily in the 1500s. And she's like, it should have been me instead. She might be able to complete that journey. Also, she's like Desmond in Lost, I think, where she's unstuck in time and she's like seeing moments in the future and the past. And like, Desmond felt that Charlie was going to die and Lost, and maybe they could reverse that onto Lilia. And she feels like the only way to cure her of this is for her to just finally die and meet her final destination.
I could see that. That makes sense. They also could not kill anyone because there's so much death already in the show with Evanora Harkness. If we watch the Salem 7 die again, there's like that death. If we saw that's also the thing is like, Jen could bring back anyone, right? Because she just brought back the Teen from an injury. So it's like, will anyone die if they have Jen there? You have to tell her not to heal you. You have to tell her not to like bring you back.
Let me go.
Yeah, let me go, which I could see Lilia doing.
Yeah.
But then it's also if if Nicholas Scratch is dead, we're going to see the Nicholas Scratch death.
So, I think that's going to be part of whatever the Agatha All Is Revealed episode is, where we'll see in the Victorian era. There's also a shot of Aubrey Plaza wearing the green cloak, and maybe that was the first time she took the form of the original Green Witch.
100%.
And that could also be part of her past relationship with Agatha when that episode is finally revealing everything. I think We've kind of covered all pieces. I'm just still trying to figure out in my head how it all fits together. We covered all
trailer pieces, which don't incorporate the Evanora Harkness coming back. That doesn't incorporate Nicholas Scratch because we don't see him at all in the trailers. But you're gonna have to answer that question. You got to answer that Nicholas Scratch question, which is gonna be a full episode.
You got to answer what really happened with Nicholas Scratch. And here's just a question we should embrace. Is there a completely unshown setting that all this trailer footage has not shown any piece of at all? Is there like, because, you know, sometimes in movies and TV shows that Marvel is promoting, they tend to show snippets of everything, but every once in a while there'll be something like, whoa, we didn't see that location anywhere in the trailer. And I think, I'm trying to remember, the seasons of Loki tended to show snippets of everything based off of reaction shots.
I get what you're saying, though. I think there's been times where we're like, I don't know anything about this scene. Where are they right now? I get that. And I probably think it would come towards the end. I have this not weird, it's pretty obvious, that Lilia is connecting to people in the past, present, and future, or just dead. I think her being able to connect with Alice, with her mom in that speech where she's like, Alice, don't. It's like, what are you talking about? And I'm like, oh, I think Lilia has a way to actually be a medium and converse with people in the afterlife. And I think there's going to be a conversation with Nicholas Scratch and Agatha.
So she'll be like the Whoopi Goldberg and Ghost figure. Who can just,
she'll be like, you can touch my hand.
Oh, that'd be so cool.
I think there is going to be
such a good job with that.
I think there is going to be, especially if I think there's something there. There is a part in that trailer where she straight up says, it's easier for them to believe that than the truth, because the truth is worse. And I'm like, what's worse than them thinking you traded your son for the Darkhold? Did you just trade your son, or did your son die?
You trade your son for nothing?
For nothing?
Yeah.
But he's somewhere. He's somewhere. He had to have gone somewhere. So I'm like, I think it's we all know that there is a son. It's just knowing what happened to him and where he went. And if the rumor is a rumor that she traded him for the Darkhold, but the truth is worse, I'm like, he must be dead. He must be dead. And it's something that maybe Lilia can get to. And that's going to be like a scene that we haven't seen or won't know. I feel like once the Witch's Road is done, Lilia will be able to be clairvoyant without burst or like burst of premonitions. She'll be able to actually be like, oh, here, let me connect to this one person specifically. And that will
What's the move that she did there?
It's like one of the wave. It's the wave. And it's Nicholas Scratch. My son. Oh, shit. He hung up. My bad. Let me try connecting over time. It's not going through.
It's not. It's stuck in my wrist.
It's stuck.
Today's video is sponsored by Blue Chew. October is a great time to focus on scary things. You know, vampires, witches, ghosts. But if you're haunted by the ghost of your fading sexual prowess, you can exorcise your demons with Blue Chew. Blue Chew is a unique online service that delivers the same active ingredients as Viagra, Cialis, and Levitra, but in chewable tablets and at a fraction of the cost. Blue Chew's tablets are made in the USA and prepared and shipped direct to your door in a discreet package. It's super easy too. Just sign up at bluechew.com, consult with one of their licensed medical providers, and once you're approved, you'll receive your prescription within days. And it's all done online. That means no visits to the doctor's office, no awkward conversations, and no waiting in line at the pharmacy. You can take Blue Chew anytime, day or night. That way you can plan ahead or be ready for whenever an opportunity arises. And if you're skeptical or don't think you need it, try it free for a month and see. Blue Chew wants to help you have better sex. Discover your options at bluechew.com. And we've got a special deal for our listeners. Try Blue Chew free when you use our promo code New Rockstars at checkout. Just pay $5 in shipping. That's bluechew.com, promo code New Rockstars to receive your first month free. Visit bluechew.com for more details and important safety information. And we thank Blue Chew for sponsoring this video.
A couple other things I want to ask you about. This news about the numbers, Agatha's ratings. Like Disney was boasting this, that it got like a 9.8 or 9.3 or something million views in its first, because Disney Plus usually releases 2 episodes in the first week, which a number that was pretty high, but also not as high as like Ahsoka or Loki or some of these other shows that they've done. But they also said it's the most cost-effective show that they've made.
I'm not surprised.
They said that like I think the entire run of Echo was like 40 million, and they said it was less than that. I'm not surprised, but they seem to be really using the money wisely on this show with a lot of practical effects and sets and minimal VFX, but VFX in noticeable moments where it's done well. Like, is this really the business model that they should approach for all shows? try to get it done practically.
Yeah.
And if you can't get it done practically, maybe this story is not worth telling.
We talked about this in the special presentations where we were like, more bang for your buck when you do things like Werewolf by Night, where it's like, yeah, this is one location, it's a maze, and we're having a lot of fun watching this, and it doesn't take a lot to add in the practicals. And I'm like, yeah, they're doing it here really well. I don't know if it can work for every Disney Plus show. It depends on the show. If you wanted to do another Hulk one, it's impossible because you're gonna have to turn that person into a Hulk more than once.
Yeah.
But for something like this, it works very well. I don't know if like Ironheart could do it. It feels like that would already take too many locations. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, Moon Knight was kind of on bordering horror, but a lot of VFX.
Yeah,
like every transition, basically a ton of VFX. Khonshu was a ton of VFX, and it looked very cool. I thought the character design and the suit design on Moon Knight was really cool.
Very
a
fun.
very expensive show to make.
That scene, that first change where I think we see the reflection in the bus go by. I was like, I was like, this is a lot of money. I was like, this is a lot of money that they're putting onto this. It's and a lot of people. A lot of people.
Oscar Isaac is not cheap.
Oscar Isaac and Arthur Howard and what's his name?
Ethan Hawke.
Ethan Hawke.
Ethan Hawke might be cheap because he does a lot of indie movies.
I think he's a little bit cheaper now, but I'm still like with Oscar Isaac.
Yeah.
And then on top of this, you're putting all these VFX. You have also you're filling up. Weren't they in Egypt? Weren't they in London? Weren't they in museums? They were outside of like Sweden. I was like, you had so many extras. I was like, you had to pay every one of those people. Clearly, that was a lot of money. This about a show of women that lost their magical abilities, a lot different. Because now you don't even have to do the finger things.
Yeah. I have to say, it's weird that people care so much about the budgets of these shows. You would think that like, is the show good is all people should care about. But nowadays people are so worried. It's like everyone's a stockholding investor and shareholder at the Disney company and very few people actually are.
I think it's just a good way for the audience to recognize like where they're going. Because it's clear that Bob Iger is like money, 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 money. And he will give money to projects and he will take money away from projects. And if projects can be less or like more cost effective, it's like, oh, they might make more things like this. And I would love more things like Agatha. But I'm like, if it was something big, Bob's going to be like, I don't know. I'm not the biggest, when it comes to Star Wars and Marvel, clearly my hand is in Marvel, but I'm like, if I was a Star Wars fan and I'm watching, Bob Iger's watching all the Star Wars stuff, he's like, we need to lower the cost on these things. I'm like, no! I'd be like so mad. So that's why I'm like, it's nice to see as the audience to care about it that way.
Yeah, I was thinking this week about like what makes good TV. And I think Agatha is, at least at this point, very enjoyable TV.
Yeah, enjoyable TV.
Really fun actors in very interesting locations dealing with pretty interesting problems. And I think so far, a lot of these episodes have just been bottle episodes. Or at least the past two, all the characters in a confined location, maybe splitting off to the side and having a side conversation. But that saves a lot of money on production because you're not jumping around a location. But I was thinking like, wait, I'm trying to remember back to episode 4 of season 2 of House of the Dragon, the big Rook's Rest battle. That was pretty good TV. And then this past week, I watched, well, by the time you're watching this, I will have seen the finale of Rings of Power. But episode 7 of Rings of Power was a pretty amazing battle episode. And I'm sure it was very expensive to make, but it's like, what are our standards for good TV? Do we need like a huge budget in order to appreciate something as like prestige, like, you know, water cooler television?
I don't know. I mean, it gives you at least one check in the box if you put a lot of money in it. I will say the first season of Rings of Power, I didn't care for, but I knew it was gorgeous. Yeah. And that was what I told everybody. I was like, I'm very bored, but it is the most beautiful thing I've ever seen.
It's beautiful.
And it was all that money. It was all that money. I was like, this is beautiful to look at. And that's like at least one check. At least I can say that. And people were willing to go check it out just to be like, I want to see what it looks like. So I guess like a lot of money does that for you. Put a lot of money, you can check a lot of boxes. But I guess if you want to be really good in your craft, I would say like you shouldn't have to rely on the money. No. To be able to make it and it'd be really good.
I think we just want to see the labor of love on screen.
100%.
This show feels that way. Loki felt that way, where the people designing everything really had a lot of insight and thought and research that was put into what this location is going to look like and how it emotionally connects to the characters who are occupying it. WandaVision had that vibe too, and a lot of the team from WandaVision came back on this show. And I think you get a sense of that, and we connect with that when we notice those details and that attention to detail and the set design and the costume design. Not all Disney Plus shows have had that. They've just had characters passing through very expensive locations and jumping around the world and having no real reaction to it just because the script didn't need them to. But I think I would love more Marvel shows done like this in the way that we're talking about. Not all Marvel shows have to be a coven of witches going down a witch's road. Of course, we're just saying like characters needing to be in the places where they're at.
Yeah.
As opposed to just in a place because you wanted to take your film production there.
They're like, I just want to go to the Hollywood Hills. No one ever said that ever.
So odds, last week I think we talked about odds that Mephisto will be on this show.
What did I
right?
say about talking about Mephisto?
We have to check back in just because we're having side conversations over here with our viewers. What is she saying?
What are you saying?
What?
I can't hear you.
I can't hear what you
Speak louder.
Louder. The question on everyone's minds.
You are a child that I would have been like, go to timeout. I'm like, get away from me.
I like timeout. I like
Speak
talking
louder,
to each wall of the
louder.
corner. Now I have two friends who will just listen to me.
Oh my side bit. Go back to this in a bit. But in Young Frankenstein, where she goes, "You hardly touched your food," and he goes, and mashes his fingers into it. That's you. That's you. Now continue.
So Jack Schaefer this week kind of was like, so I didn't know who Mephisto was during WandaVision, but then when we came back for Agatha, we're like, we have to put this guy in the show. Yeah. But I think she said we have to say his name. She didn't say we have to put this guy in the show. Do we think we're going to see, do you feel any more or less confident over the past week since we talked last week over Mephisto's possible appearance on this show?
No, unless Marvel forced her to do it. I could see Jack Schaefer not caring.
Yeah.
Truly not caring. Being like, yeah, everyone was clamoring about this, and I'll mention his name, but I don't need to put him in my damn show. Unless Marvel forced her to. I think, and if he does show up, it would be like a Kevin Feige of like, can you put him in here really quick? Because we gotta launch him onto the other thing. But I think he's been pretty kind of letting her do her own thing with her team over there with Agatha all along. So I don't think we're gonna physically see Mephisto.
All right, yeah, I'm feeling the same way. I think it would feel not like a betrayal of this show, but just feels unnecessary.
And I think she sees that. I think the team sees that. I think they're like, we don't need it. Just as much as like Wanda. I don't think Wanda's showing up at the end. I don't think Wanda's showing up anymore throughout that dead body we saw at the beginning.
I think Mephisto's more likely than Wanda.
Yeah, but I think
I think both are unlikely.
I think both are unlikely, and I think the team knows that. They're like, we don't want this. It sounds like in interviews too, they were like, we question if this is true, what else is true in the world? But then we also said, do we need this? Like, should we address this? And I think Mephisto is one of those things of like, we don't need it, but we can say his name.
But if he does show up, what should I do? Should I run down the street in my underwear screaming, I am a Jedi, like Tracy Morgan?
Or like, I'm a vampire! I'm a vampire!
I like turtles.
Or just wear a Mephisto shirt for like 2 weeks.
Yeah, I'm not allowed to take it off.
And you're not allowed to wash it.
Okay.
If you take it off, you can't wash it.
Do we have a Mephisto shirt?
We could literally make a Mephisto shirt. Honestly, we should make you the crappiest Mephisto shirt. And when I say that, we get you a gray t-shirt, a normal gray t-shirt, Fruit of the Loom, and straight up draw a giant Mephisto on it in Sharpie. And that's the shirt you have to wear for a week.
All right.
And you can take it off, but you got to put it back on when you come into this office. Yeah. And if I smell a whiff that it has been washed, I will be very upset.
Do I smell Tide?
I'm like, Kelly.
Where's that stick?
Kelly. Where is it?
All right. So coming this week on New Rockstars, tomorrow we'll see a breakdown of episode 3 of The Penguin. Pengling. It's such a freaking good show, this show. And then we'll be covering Agatha episode 5 this week on New Rockstars. Our breakdown of Joker Folie à Deux is on the channel already. Let me know your thoughts on that movie, because in the screening I saw it with, everyone was pretty divided, and I thought it was hilarious to talk to people afterwards in the lobby. People were like, what did you think? And I'm like, what did you think? And they're like, I thought
you go first.
I thought one of those reprises was worth it, but to bring that song back 5 times, and I was like, yeah, I kind of agree.
Well,
didn't need to be 2 hours, 17 minutes. It is a very good song, but just to hear Joaquin Phoenix sing it 4 different ways, I don't know if it's necessary.
Joaquin? Not T-Pain? Is T-Pain in the Joker Folie à Deux? You can spoil it for me.
Can you imagine? I'm not going to spoil it. I don't want
I'm going to list off 3 rappers, and you tell me if they're not in
No. So yeah, it's going to be a fun week on New Rockstars ahead, so be sure to subscribe to all 3 channels in the New Rockstars network. Let's end with what we're watching. Oh, the stool is greased. Oh.
Look at what you did.
Hey,
Look
we
at
have a
what you
screen
did.
back here.
Oh yeah, we have a screen.
Everyone
you
was so
guys.
nice about the work our production crew did to build this set. And they're like, it's great. And I'm like, oh, maybe we could have a screen to let people know what this format is. And they're going to see the screen and be like, that. Get that screen out of there. We hate it. You had a perfect set, Erik. Why did you insist on a screen being in?
I said, I want you guys to know I was against the screen. I wanted to get a red telephone in the middle of us. We take calls from people. They can
We
call
prank
it.
call
we get
people?
also we get a specific number. We have to buy a number through AT&T or T-Mobile or whatever.
We'll have
And
a
it comes in.
landline.
Yeah, we have a landline, and then you guys can call it.
Well, we should. We'll take some. Oh, this is a great idea. Okay, we'll get right on this for next week.
Hello. Oh. It was my mother. Okay, what are you watching?
I hope it's just only your mom.
Oh my
Can it just be a number we only give your mom? So
Is
that
Erik there? He's not answering my calls. I'm like, Erik, it's your mom. Erik, it's your mom. She wants to talk to you.
it's the mom phone.
Oh, that's so cute.
That's sweet.
Actually, I'll go first with what I'm watching because it's actually very funny. I genuinely was like, oh, I haven't watched anything on HBO Max in a very, very long time. If you are paying for these services, make sure you are watching them. Don't pay to play, or if you don't play, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I own so many of these services, and I'm like, I'm not paying 12, 20, 10, whatever the hell if I'm not watching it. So I went to HBO Max to go catch up on things, and they were like, you should watch Wonder Woman, and it's the 1970s Wonder Woman. So I've been watching. I got all the way to season 3 of the 1977 like Wonder Woman, and this show is so insane, so crazy. It's more so really fun to watch how they shot things in the 70s, and this Wonder Woman is so fun. She also fought Nazis, and I don't think people remember that. Like,
She did.
Wonder Woman also fought Nazis. Very fun, easy watch. Episodes are so fast. The acting is so fun. She's great, but like every other male actor is like that transatlantic accent that is not needed in the 70s.
They gotta talk like this.
That's not needed in the 70s at all.
No.
They were doing it.
They're still doing it. Oh, okay. Maybe that kind of came out of the tradition of like sitcoms. Still
I think so.
Like Mary Tyler Moore Show in the 60s was still kind of doing that. And then you had certain sitcoms in the 70s. Not Three's Company though.
No.
Brady Bunch wasn't really.
I
doing it.
also think they were kind of like okay with it because it's a 70s show, but it takes place way like further back in time than that.
Yeah.
So they were like, yeah, let's just have these men be crazy. And it's clearly like just 4 walls set up in a lot of rooms, like just 4 walls on the set that's trying to be, and then it's so weird. It's like they'll make like an office, and it's clearly just like, hey, can we just put up like 3 walls real quick and have her stand right here and put a water jug in the middle.
That sounds.
But it's a very fun, easy.
I didn't realize those were all on Max.
Yeah, I think they have all the DC. I assume they have all DC because I also watched a long time ago the old Justice League cartoon on HBO Max as well. What are you watching?
Oh, we want to shout out our new best friend, Kyland from The Challenge, who saw last week's episode and he shared it on Instagram.
As soon as you showed it to me, I was like, Erik is so excited.
I was so excited and like starstruck.
Yeah.
The warriors and the competitors of The Challenge are in the upper echelon of all reality TV competitors because not only do they have to be charismatic and charming, they have to be peak physical condition.
Of course.
They have to be excellent strategists. And they just have to know how to play the challenge game, which means that you have to like curry favor with the vets, but also have your own squad of rookies. And it's hard to do. Not everyone makes it through. There's a lot of rookies who come through who just can't hang with CT. But Kyland, you break the mold, my friend.
That's so fun.
You're in. In my opinion, you're a vet. Just because you like new Rockstars, but also because they're a lot of fun to watch it on the challenge. Do we think this is the beginning of a challenge New Rockstars collaboration? Are we gonna do a challenge episode and get everybody?
We are not in any condition to be on the challenge.
No, we're not.
I will tell you right now, in the most respectful way, especially myself. I'm like, I could run for maybe a mile.
You put me in a hall brawl with anybody, and literally they will run through me, and it'll be like the scene in the horror film, The Ghost Ship, where the wires just run through everyone and they're still alive for a second. That will be anybody on the challenge just running through me, and I'll still be there frozen, and then just my body will collapse into slivers into a bloody heap on the ground.
Once they make a nerd competitive show like this, I think we would be good on it against other nerdy people.
Sounds like you're pitching Fitness Origins.
No, I thought you were gonna say that boxing one. What is that boxing one that they force the internet celebs to do?
Celebrity boxing?
Yes. It had like different YouTubers in it.
Yes.
I remember someone was like, Jessica, you should try to do that. And I was like, I would cry if someone punched
Creator Clash.
The Creator Clash.
Don't invite us to the Creator Clash.
Do not.
Please.
Do not.
You don't want to have to say no.
Clash. I will say no. I will aggressively be. That's so crazy to be like, boxing in itself is the most insane sport to me. The last thing I'm going to do is enjoy getting punched in the throat. Like, I'm going to cry. I would fall to my knees. I'm a big girl and I would still like, please stop. It hurts.
We are now just kind of going through other HBO series that I haven't seen. So now we're going to Entourage.
Oh my God.
Entourage is worth.
I can't wait. I rewatched Entourage like 5 times.
The show is like a mess.
It's so bad. Okay, it's horrible. I don't understand how that show lasted so long. It was everyone's top. It had to be The Boys. It had to be The Boys. I'm sorry.
The fact that they're just boys doing boys
it's
things
boys being
in
boys.
LA.
Drama shouldn't be anywhere.
But that's kind of what's fun about Drama is he's like,
Drama's the worst.
But he's
Drama,
my favorite character on the show.
No, you're insane for that. That's a crazy thing. Go rewatch the show. And Drama is the worst character. Not even as like a person. He's just like annoying.
Well, a lot of people say like Ari Gold is their favorite, but whatever.
No.
Jeremy Piven.
Ari was like he's a lawyer, wasn't he? So it's like he's already like a bad person.
He's like the Ari Emanuel of analog of the show.
And his position of a lawyer in entertainment was a bad person, not normal lawyers. I watched it when I was way too young. I think I was 12 when I watched Entourage because I had cable in my room and I was like, ooh, oh yeah. That's the theme song.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
yeah. I do this annoying thing when I watch it just because I've lived in LA for so long. I'm like, oh, that's Real Food Daily.
Oh yeah, you can
by
point
the Beverly Center.
That's what I do with Curb Your Enthusiasm. I'm like, I've been there.
That's Dupar's. Oh, that's Cantor's.
You went to Entourage. You couldn't have done like Curb Your Enthusiasm. You couldn't do Arrested Development.
I begged to do Curb Your Enthusiasm, but
Kelly's
like, no, you have to watch Entourage.
Rewatching from the beginning of Curb Your Enthusiasm is so funny.
Yeah.
It is. So I rewatched Curb all the
Larry
time.
shows up in the season 1 finale of Entourage.
Does he?
Yeah, I think that was like they did like a weird HBO crossover.
I do not
he
remember
shows up
that.
at Ari in the agency.
How young is he in that?
And Drama
How
goes
young
up to him
is
and he
he
goes,
in that?
Larry, I'm a big fan. And he goes, Johnny Drama. Oh yeah, there might be a part for you in this. And he like, leaves. And he goes, don't ever talk to a real client again. And Johnny Drama's there to get representation from the junior agent. That's why I like Johnny Drama. It's fun. But like the show, I have so many theories about it. One, it is like in every possible way the inverse of Silicon Valley. Entourage is about like pretty boys who have mediocre talent and are stupid as shit, just doing things and everything just kind of works out for them. Mm-hmm. Like just because, I don't know, it was early
just falls into place.
Easy.
Yeah.
Whereas Silicon Valley, it's extremely overly smart nerds who never get laid unless it's something that's going to lead to something horrible for them. And then anytime they seem to get ahead, everything comes crashing down on them. So I think there's some exec who's like, hey, it'll just be like Entourage, but the exact opposite. It's also the difference between Silicon Valley and LA. It's what people in LA, the stereotype of Silicon Valley. Yes. And then Entourage is what Silicon Valley thinks of people in LA.
This is so fun. Now you make me want to watch Entourage again and then watch Silicon Valley, which is really funny. I haven't watched Entourage in so long, but I can watch all of Entourage. I got so irritated with Silicon Valley. Silicon Valley was so smart, it made me feel like, as the audience, a little too dumb. Yeah. That I stopped understanding how it would work. I was like, I understand your guys' like trying to be a human like jokes, but when you got into the science part, I was like, I don't understand what's going on.
Yeah,
and I'm too dumb for this.
Yeah, I felt the way all the time on Silicon Valley. It's what's crazy is both shows were kind of created by Entourage was like a Mark Wahlberg project, but also it was like Larry Charles, who is the Seinfeld writer, and then Alec Berg was the showrunner on Silicon Valley. So both of these guys were in like the Seinfeld writing room at the time. I always like to do like genealogy of
the writers.
TV writers, how like Mad Men was produced by Matt Weiner, who had written some of the final episodes of The Sopranos. So like once Sopranos ended, all these great directors and writers went to create all these other great shows. Yeah. I believe like weirdly The Good Place, Parks and Rec, Brooklyn Nine-Nine, and The Office are all kind of related in that way.
Yeah, 100.
Because
I forget the one guy that
Greg
was
Daniels went to this, and then so they all kind of worked on this.
That's my favorite, and it's even like celebrities. I love the the episodes of Simpsons where it's clearly what's the late night host, redhead giant,
Conan O'Brien,
where you can clearly tell it's Conan O'Brien's jokes.
Yeah,
and I'm like, these are the specific, like the Jub episodes. I'm like, these are Conan O'Brien jokes. Also, a lot of the writers were like The Simpsons, or they let some writers, like 2 writers from The Simpsons, also wrote on Golden Girls, or Golden Girls went to The Simpsons. And I think that's so funny because I'm like, yeah, those pitch jokes, those like type 5 jokes, yeah, 100% 90s writers.
yeah. But I do think, final thought on Entourage.
Oh, sorry.
No. It's
I digress. Yes, keep going.
My thoughts are evolving on Entourage, but I think season 1 to season 2 of Entourage is so weird because season 1, they're kind of finding their way. Season 2, they abandon any shred of morality for these characters and make them aggressively misogynistic.
Yeah, they're
that feels like, what happened in between 2004 and 2005 in America?
That's why
where they're just like, no, they aren't sexist enough. They have to be like aggressive. Where I thought season 1 was already kind of a time capsule in that way. I'm like, that's just kind of how guys talked in 2004. But 2005, it's just like, get the women out of the room.
The writers were like, get them out of here.
Mean. And just
maybe that's why I'm so confused why you chose Johnny. Johnny's like, to be fair, I can't remember Johnny being too sexist. He just did a lot of disgusting shit. And I did not like him.
He is the most vain, but I think what I like about drama is he's not trying to be, he is so pathetic.
Yeah,
but he is just kind of like, he knows he's a side character in this world and he's trying to break in to be the leading man. But like right now, at least, I don't know what happens to him in the course of the show.
My bad.
But no, I feel like he is, he's just so pathetic and he's just such a joke. Like he's a walking joke. And that's why like, whereas E, they kind of want you to like E. They want you to like Vince. They want you to like Ari. And I'm like, I hate all of these characters. I think they're all jerks.
I think E was bad. Turtle was who I always hung on to and I clung to. I was like, Turtle's trying.
That guy, nothing against him, lucked his ass off and fell up into one of the most successful TV shows of all time.
What other shows in?
Nothing. Nothing.
Oh yeah, because he wasn't in anything.
That guy just like you can see
he was
him
showing
learning
up
how to act in the first season of that show. And it's like that does not happen.
But that's
anymore.
what made Turtle, so it worked.
Does it count?
It made Turtle.
No.
The only other show that worked with was The Wire. I was like, that's the only show where you can just grab people off the goddamn street and be
but
like,
that's what made The Wire great.
And that's what made The Wire
it felt
great.
authentic. This was like nowadays that casting would be some guy who had done like several different roles on Broadway.
Oh, it's Josh Gad.
It's just Josh Gad.
It's Josh Gad.
Someone who had voiced like 80 Disney characters and then like still not a household name.
Damn.
That just doesn't happen anymore. And then I was telling Kelly like, damn, I moved to LA 10 years late.
Too late.
If I had moved there in 2000, man, I'd be writing on all these because they're just giving out careers.
They were giving it in the 2000s. But you know what? Yeah, to guys, you know what I kept saying? I mean, clearly not the case anymore. I will say that first before what I'm about to say. That was me when I was younger, looking at Nickelodeon shows. Because there was a bunch of black kids. There was always a bunch of black kids on the Nickelodeon shows and on Disney Channel in the 90s. And I was like, Mom, no. Well,
would
now
you have wanted to be one of them?
Now,
Yes.
absolutely not. But when I was younger, I would tell my mom, I was like, you always said that I was the center of attention all the time. Why didn't you put me on Nickelodeon?
She knew what was happening to those kids. And she's like, Jessica, I'll tell you when you're older. Or an HBO documentary will tell you.
My mom
is
very good at knowing when. I wasn't allowed to watch The Cosby Show growing up because my mom just hated Bill Cosby. There was no reason. She was like, there's something about him. I just don't like him. And then when it came out, she's like, good thing you guys never got to watch it. Good thing you guys never got to know him. Like
now you can never find it anywhere.
Because now you can find.
Better get those DVDs at a garage sale somewhere.
I'm like, God damn it! I need those Cosby DVDs. Is that what the show was called? No, it's called The Cosby Show. I couldn't even remember the title.
That's probably for the best. Hey, some of you still like watching those reruns out there, and I say, why?
Why? So yeah, some of you guys still like watching Entourage, and I gotta say.
I say, I get it. We have to go through this. If you live in LA, you have to know this part of our history is Entourage.
I would rather watch The Hills. Like, let me. I'd watch The. You guys are gonna watch The Hills, and I can't wait. I can't wait. Okay.
Well, we've always ended where I love to end in an episode of The Sneak Peek, completely off the rails, talking about something unrelated to what you clicked on this video for. But that's why you stick with us. Because if Kyland from The Challenge can stick around to the final segment of these episodes, so can you. So can you. Surely you can. Thanks again, Kyland. We love you. And I don't know, I might not be caught up on this on this season of the challenge, but I hope you're doing well.
I hope you're doing well.
Comment down below with your thoughts on what you think is ahead down the witch's road of Agatha all along. Follow Jessica at Lulu_Clemons. Follow me at EA Voss. And be sure to join us every Thursday at 11 a.m. on the Break Room channel, where we're going to talk about all things Agatha and take all your questions. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week. Bye.